More than a dozen senators participating in President Trump's impeachment trial were also there when President Clinton was impeached. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is one of them. Here's what he said about the Clinton impeachment manager's request to hear from witnesses back then.
I say this really not just to play gotcha, but to make the point that the argument the House managers are making for a mere 3 witnesses is certainly not an unreasonable request.
And here's what Senator McConnell said about witnesses today.
If any amendments are brought forward to force premature decisions on mid-trial questions, I will move to table such amendments and protect our bipartisan precedent. If a senator moves to amend the resolution in order to subpoena specific witnesses or documents, I will move to table such motions because the Senate will decide those questions later in the trial, just like we did back in 1999.
So just how close is Senator McConnell sticking to those 1999 Senate trial rules, and just how reasonable will he find Democrats' requests to hear from witnesses more than 2 decades later? For more on this, let's bring in presidential historian Thomas Whalen. Welcome, Thomas. So we just heard Senator McConnell in that clip from 1999 saying the Clinton impeachment manager's request for witnesses in the Senate trial was not unreasonable. But in 2020, McConnell appears to have changed his tune on the idea of witnesses for President Trump's impeachment trial. So my question is this simply a partisan political play, or is there more to it?
Well, I think you said it right. This is a demonstration of pure power. And, what McConnell is doing basically trying to bend the entire Senate process to a narrow partisan political agenda.
And Senator McConnell said he will be following the same rules as the impeachment trial for Clinton. Is he so far staying true to those rules from 1999?
Well, not quite. And, what really forced him to get closer to those rules is what happened earlier today, that, he tried to speed up the process, 24 hours for both sides, 2 days each. And there was kind of a minor revolt, it seems, within the Republican caucus. And this is significant because Mitch McConnell, for the first time in recent memory, has blinked in a major political crisis situation. And it shows that maybe he isn't the all-powerful man behind the curtain, a la the Wizard of Oz, that he pretends to be. That, I believe it's been reported that people like Susan Collins were not willing to go along with that. So that's why he kind of made those canned notes, okay, we'll spread it out for 3 days. And also all the evidence that was produced in the House to bring about the articles of impeachment will be essentially introduced to the Senate as well. And if you recall, going into this process, he wasn't even going to allow that. It was going to have to be based on a vote by the Senate. What evidence that the House had gathered to date would go to the Senate for review. So this is not a particularly good day for Mitch McConnell, though he still has quite impressive power moving forward.
Well, I wanted to sort of discuss the key differences in the Senate trial rules for the Clinton impeachment and President Trump's impeachment. I mean, it seems to me the most significant difference is that while in both cases you had a Republican-controlled Senate, in this case, you have a Republican president who is in question.
Right. And basically what you see is the entire process, the rules are designed to basically defend that president, protect that president from being removed from office. And that's why Mitch McConnell said at the very beginning of the process he was going to consult closely with the White House, which frankly is an outrageous statement to make going into an historic impeachment. I mean, I've never heard of that in a trial situation where the defense or one side in this trial basically is making common cause with the defendant. I mean, it's just unprecedented.
And so do you think then that the Senate Majority Leader's strategy behind continually saying, because we hear him invoking the rules for, Clinton's impeachment trial over and over and over, so you think his constant invoking of that is to create this illusion of bipartisan agreement?
so much Kentucky wind is how I call it. And basically to provide some political cover, at least for the base, saying, this is why we're doing it, but really it doesn't pass legal muster. My God, the People's Court allows more evidence and witnesses to produce. Why doesn't the greatest so-called deliberative body on this planet allow witnesses and new evidence to be introduced in such a weighty matter that's going to basically impact the entire future of the United States?
All right. Well, Thomas Whalen, thank you so much for giving us a little historical perspective on this historical event. Thank you so much.